So hell?
The bottom line for me is that I don't believe in hell. That was one of the questions that a congregation member asked me, and I said, one of the things that I'm pretty sure of is that there is no idea of hell the way that we picture it, with the devil and the flames and all that stuff. And the bottom line for me is that if God is a God of love, and if God created us out of love, which I believe, then a good and loving God would not allow a hell to exist. It would be counter to all of the promises of love that God gives in scriptures and in other ways through people that we're gifted with in our lives. And the other part for me is that I cannot believe that our no to God, our rejection of God, could possibly be stronger than God's yes to us, God's acceptance of us. So in the end, how is it possible that people would end up in hell when they die? I just don't believe in that concept. I do believe that it's a very human construct because we have such a great need for revenge and vengeance for people that we think have done wrong or done us wrong. People say, well, what about Hitler? Isn't he in hell? And I say, well, no, from my perspective, no. Hitler for me is probably, I don't know where he is, but people have a really hard time with that. But that's our need for vengeance. And from my perspective, that's not our business, that's God's business. And so I'm not going to worry about God's business in that sense. But I can't believe even Hitler's strong no to God could be stronger than God's yes. I don't know how that plays out. I can't say how that's going to play out. I do believe in hell on earth. While we're living, I do believe that there are people who are so alienated from their fellow human beings that have either been damaged in terrible situations, emotionally damaged in terrible situations of their lives, that they just cannot turn around out of that, or have somehow experienced soul damage in some way, where they just are so alienated that they cannot feel other people's love and they cannot give love in return. And to me, that's being in a living hell, to be that alienated, no matter how successful they may look or how powerful they may look. I do believe that those people are living a hell on earth. And certainly Dom Crossan, who's a great biblical historian, would talk about his belief in hell on earth, but he also doesn't believe in hell in the afterlife that way. I really value Crossan's scholarship, where he looks at all of the biblical accounts and looks at where the concept of hell and heaven start coming into in a real way. But his understanding of the early Old Testament tradition is that the original idea was that when we died, we sort of went to this condo holding place for dead bodies until resurrection at the end time. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. I can go with that. but not an actual hell that we go to after death.